Kyle and I just started floating the idea probably a month ago. What if we kept him here in a backup capacity? At some point we shared that with Jimmy. It was important for Kyle to let Trey know that, that may be a possibility, and I think that's the right thing to do. But the crux of the matter, this wasn't going to happen, and I understand it completely from Jimmy's side. He had his current contract, and they were going to exhaust every opportunity. His agents, Carter Chow and Don Yee have been doing this a long time, and they probably rightly so. I remember at one conversation, think if this were your son, you'd wait for every opportunity to collect that whole salary, and the way you do that is, a lot can happen. And so they waited it out. We waited out, but we had been in communication, and then it kind of came to fruition yesterday morning and was finished slightly after we got off the practice field.
If there was any chance of Jimmy remaining with the club, why wasn't he in meetings, and why was he not out there on the practice field to get him best prepared for the regular season?
I think that was because the chances were, to me, it seemed slim to none, just with the possibility of that happening. I remember the first week of training camp, me saying to Jimmy, like, hey, if you don't like any of these opportunities, if you don't go to the place you want, you can't get the contract that you want, we would love to have you here as a backup in a backup role in that deal. But I want you to know that we feel that way. But I also think there's no way you're not going to get something as this goes throughout training camp. And Jimmy agreed with that. To me, it seems like everyone was just waiting for us to cut him before that so they could see how much they could get him for. But once the last Saturday preseason game happened and no one got injured, then Jimmy thought this was his best situation that he liked. And that's why we were so pumped, because it's obviously a better situation for the Niners. We love getting Jimmy back, but to have him there earlier in camp wasn't an option. I mean, we weren't going to put him out there in practice for his sake and for our sake. I mean, he was on a $24 million contract, and he was going to go somewhere else. But none of that came into fruition.